All right, guys, it's your boy Jay as well as Franklin, and we started a new show. It's called We Need Clarity. This is the first episode, so we want to welcome you to the show. Obviously, want you to smash that thumbs up. It is much appreciative. And of course, by you guys being new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell to be notified of all future streams and content moving forward. It's been an interesting year for both of us. We've got multiple businesses. We're doing multiple things. So we said, hey, you know what? Let's figure out another opportunity that we can take advantage of and see if we can help the people. So, with that said, today's topic on episode 1 is going to be why men can't be vulnerable. Now, obviously, this doesn't just apply to just men, but this can apply to women as well. And we'll get into the topics. We'll go over, obviously, some experiences. We'll go over some of our friends' experiences, talk to you guys, and we'll go from there. With that said, we're going to go ahead and start it off with a celebratory quick drink here. Celebratory quick drink.
So if we say something a little messed up, blame it on the alcohol, okay?
Blame it on the alcohol tonight. Blame it on the alcohol tonight. No, we're gonna
be good.
Yeah, we'll be good.
We'll be good guys.
We'll be good.
Oh, a little brown juice, little truth juice.
Yeah, just a little truth juice. Obviously, if you're 21 and up, you could join us with with your own little what they call it, pick your own poison.
Pick your own poison.
Yeah,
yes.
Pick your own poison.
21 and older.
21 and older. Drink responsibly.
If you have a problem, you know what site to go to.
There it is. Okay. Why men can't be vulnerable. So, I feel like I want to start off with just the specific reasons why.
Okay.
I would say bravado, right? I would say the man's ability to not want to trust, in a sense, right? To trust with emotions, to basically trust with a softer side, right? We got to be tough. We got to be the man, especially around our friends, especially around our family, because I think we're bred to be providers.
Yep. Women looking for security. I get it.
Yeah, we're bred to be providers, and we know that women want security, and we want to provide that at all times. I actually just had a conversation where someone asked me, he said, like, hey, what was one of the most vulnerable moments in your life? And I don't remember it. And it's really tough because I've had things happen in my life to where I probably should have talked to someone, right? I should have went and seen that therapist. I should have went and had the conversations that I needed to, but I didn't. I kept it inside, and kind of just went through life dealing with the issues that I did and overcame them.
So you don't remember specifically what happened?
So I think it comes to a point where you deal with certain issues in certain situations to where you just kind of like push it to the side and you just move on. Especially like, with work and kids, relationships and things like that. As far as with being a man, you kind of want to, you don't want to show that side. You want to basically make sure everything's good for everybody else. And you don't want to let them know that, you're having that down moment or that you're feeling a certain way because of certain things, because you want to be able to fix that for yourself.
Which is true. And there's a saying that I have, or not saying I have, the saying that I use, I should say. And it is, sometimes you don't remember what somebody said to you, but you remember how it made you feel. Mm-hmm. And that's why I asked you earlier, so sometimes there's things in my life, I don't remember what happened to me per se, but I remember how it made me feel in that moment. Mm-hmm. And that vulnerability, you said, it is difficult for men to say they're vulnerable. And I'm going to give you a perfect example about me, right? So I've been married before and I was divorced. And one of the things that I found out is you could suffer from, men don't want to acknowledge this, but we can be the victims of narcissism. Yeah. We don't want to acknowledge it. And a lot of times we won't because, again, our egos, our bravado. I'm too manly. I can't get, I can't get used. Somebody can't take advantage of me, and we get taken advantage of more than often. We don't even know it because again, our egos don't allow it to happen. But there's a lot of men that suffer from being in a narcissistic relationship and having that woman kind of taking you over. And it doesn't have to be, sometimes people talk about physical. I'm talking about mental. Mental stress is more than anything else.
It's a silent killer.
I say, and this doesn't, he's talking about something else, but French Montana has a line. He says, watch the body tilt when you hit the head. He's talking about shooting somebody, but it's the same concept of if you can get in somebody's head, the body's gone.
Oh, yeah.
If I can get in your head, your body is finito. It's done.
I feel like, too, when it's funny you mentioned that lyric specifically, but I think that goes for both sides, right? Whether you're a man or a woman, if you can attach to someone's, mental, you've got them. We can all talk about the whole physical side of things, but a lot of the times, if you have a physical attachment to someone, you can kind of get over that a lot faster by just going on to someone else and
100%.
having that, that physical presence. But when it comes to, sharing a mental bond, that's really hard to break. And then when you have that with the physical, it's really it gets different. It gets different.
It is a double. It's a double. It can kill you in both ways, and it's very tough for people to go ahead and sometimes allow somebody to come in that deep, especially with men. There's a girl I dated before, and I'm an open book, right? In relationships, I'm an open book, and my thought process, my methodology behind doing it is if I tell you a lot of things about me, there shouldn't be any guesswork on how to deal with me. That's my whole thing, right? That's what I thought worked for me. And she said, Franklin, one of your issues with me is I know too much about you. You leave no mystery. And I'm like, damn, I never thought about it that way. Because in my thought process, like if I tell you everything about me, then you should know how to maneuver with me. So there's there's like, oh, I don't know that Franklin doesn't know this or that. But then when she said like, there's no mystery, I'm like, people want mystery. Yeah. Some people don't want to know everything.
So do you think that's more so like the excitement and the chase?
Yes.
Right?
The cat and mouse game.
Yeah, it's kind of like if because you can become way too comfortable. You can become very comfortable. You can learn too much about someone. And then
100%.
It in a sense, it becomes boring, right? And I think both men and women, right, we love the chase. We love the excitement. We do look for the mystery. But also, I think it depends on how far along your relationship is, too, because 5 years down the road, that's like they say that's like the ultimate test, right? Once you're 5 years down the road, if you can make it past 5 years, you've pretty much made it. But a lot of people get to that fifth year, and they've either lost, that spark, they lost the fire, and it's really hard to figure out whether or not it's the chemistry or if it's the physical or if it's just lust that's keeping you together. But once again, this goes back to the vulnerability side of things. How can you have a conversation with someone and let them know how you truly feel if you don't really trust them or have that emotional bond where you feel like you can share that with them? And people, I think for me personally, it comes back to me not really trusting the person I was with.
Okay.
Me not really feeling like they have my best interest, and I've had to break out of that shell. It's been tough for me. It's been a long time since I've been able to break out of that kind of shell. But as I get older, I start to realize, it's okay to kind of have these conversations that I need to, with a potential partner. Open up a little bit, Obviously, don't open the door fully because nobody should do that. But just open the door a little bit, express yourself. You don't got to be a hard rock all the time. And it's a learning process. I think it's a learning process to really to get to that point, and really have an understanding as far as what you can and what you can't do, while also letting someone know that you can show a different side of you.
One thing I respect about you, and it's similar to me as well, is you're an articulate guy. You have a great head on your shoulders. You understand things. You can hear things that sometimes aren't really being said directly to you. You can read between the lines. And a lot of times men, we fall into the category of not knowing how to communicate,
Yeah.
not knowing how to share or express your emotions. And I think you do it. I think I do it very well as well. But, and I say but, and I hate using that word but, because I tell my children all the time, when you use the word but or however, you're going against whatever you just said in the beginning. I'm about to go against what I just said. So I hate using that word but. No buts. Don't use the word but or however. But, again, we have to learn how to not be, again, like I said earlier, not be so upfront.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
You said take your time. The one thing I found in relationships out in the past that I've been in, a woman that has no friends is a red flag for me.
Okay.
And the reason I say it's a red flag for me is this. Everybody should have a crew or a council of people you could bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is this. If you are your own counsel, you have nobody else to bounce it off, that means your thought process, your mentality is the end all be all.
Yeah, so you're essentially your own source of everything.
Of everything.
And you're going to get in your own head eventually.
100% get in your head.
You're going to get in your own head. You're going to be in your own emotions and feelings. You're not going to have the counsel that you may need to help you make better decisions or even advise you on better decisions that could create a better outcome.
100%. And I tell my crew, my counsel, you are part of my counsel. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what I need to hear. And we have to be willing to accept that, because a lot of people want them to be, I don't want yes men and yes women around me.
No.
I want somebody to tell me if I'm wrong, even when I manage a staff. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, because I don't want to continue doing the wrong things if nobody tells me I'm doing something wrong. And a lot of times we do that in relationships. We don't have people to tell us that we're wrong or right. We have people that say, oh, you're right all the time. Nah, don't tell me I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, put me in my place, because I need to see that other perspective.
Well, and I think the big part of it too is accountability, right?
100%.
Yeah, it's got to be accountability, because if you look at people that always agree, it's almost fake.
Super fake.
It's almost always fake.
It's a facade, man.
Yeah, it's always a facade. If I'm always pleasing you, or if you're always pleasing me, from like a female and in that standpoint, it's kind of like we're just appeasing each other so that there's no issues, there's no problems, there's no differences, and that's toxic. People don't think that. That's actually toxic.
Super toxic.
Yeah, if you're just a people pleaser, you have to be able to give criticism. You have to be able to take criticism, and I think it's a red flag for anybody that doesn't have any friends. Like you have to get out, and you have to have some kind of I want to say some kind of circle. Whether it's a prayer group, whether it's some guys you find you play basketball with. Or if you're, a woman, you go out to the hair salon, you make friends there. You got to have some kind of circle of friends that's going to help you make decisions and give you solid advice. Now, I will say this. You do have to pick and choose your friends, because at the same time, you don't want to get into the bad friends, right? There's friends that'll give you bad advice. So there is caveats to it, right? You have to figure out who's going to be good for you, who's not. Who actually has your best interest at heart, Another big thing, too, is if you're in a relationship, you probably want to be around people that's in a relationship. If you're married, you probably want to have friends that are married. All that kind of stuff goes into play as far as the mentality and how that's going to help you perceive or go to the level that you want to go.
And how many times have you, and it happens a lot of times within women. I don't think it happens so much with men. I could be wrong. But you have, when I was married, my ex-wife had a lot of not married friends, but yet giving her advice on her marriage. Well, how can you give somebody advice on something that you've never done before?
That's true. So Ryan said most married couples don't have a circle. They're with each other 24/7, or a wife is staying at home with the kids, which causes stress on marriages and relationships, not being able to go out because you have kids.
Agreed.
So I agree with that, Ryan, to a certain degree. I was previously married. My wife, she had friends. We didn't have too many issues with time. So I really think like it's a balance, because if you have kids, more than likely your friends who are married who have kids as well. So they'll do play dates and things like that. They may go to the mall, take both the kids shopping. They may say, hey, we're gonna, take the kids to Darien Lake or something like that. So at the same time, you're gonna see that there are a lot of married couples that have friends that are married as well. I think it's just there's people that are introverts that they may have been the social butterfly back in the day, but as they've gotten older and as they've handled life's responsibilities and things like that, they probably don't go out as much. But I think that door's still open for for them to have friends and things like that. And I think it's healthy too, because being stuck in the house isn't a good thing, right?
And going back to what Ryan said, when you do have other married couples, you can still bounce things off of each other.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, you said something earlier, accountability. Mm-hmm. Right? There's a saying I have. I have a lot of sayings, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear all of them. One of them is, a lot of times we like to point our fingers, but we need to put our thumbs back. Look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we won't look in the mirror. We want to blame everybody else, the world, for our issues. But a lot of times we cause our own problems. We cause our own issues in relationships, in our marriages. And sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
That's true.
And we need to also have discernment, and a lot of times we don't, you said it earlier too, I'm going piggybacking off everything you said, of the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
You have to surround yourself with people that have like-mindedness of you. Now, one thing I've learned, and I talk about this a lot of times with other couples, I do some couples counseling every once in a while, and you can learn from what not to do versus what to do with people, but love languages. Oh. I am a big advocate of love languages. Mm-hmm. And I realized after my divorce, my ex-wife and I were loving each other, but we weren't loving each other the way we wanted to be loved, a new love. Okay. And I didn't realize that until afterwards. So, perfect example, my love languages is physical touch and words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. So my thing with my wife, I used to massage, and I wanted to be physical, intimate. And I would always, I love you, sweetheart, text messages, I can't wait to see you. Mm-hmm. She never responded the same way. She wasn't as physical as I was. Her love language was gifts. She would buy me things that I could afford already, but she'll buy me some expensive shoes or this thing or that thing that was expensive. And she would do stuff for me. So it's acts of services.
So do you think that, well, obviously I would assume that would be an issue, right? I think the problem too is, when we, in the beginning stage of a relationship, right, we ask certain questions, right? Now, obviously, the beginning of a relationship, it's physical, right? You see the person, you like the person, they look good, they smell good, and then it goes on from there. Now, whatever questions someone's asking, right, is really, I think, is what really determines how the relationship's going to go. Because if you're not asking those kind of questions, like, hey, what do you want in your future? Do you want to be a wife? Are you looking for something short term? Do you just want to have fun? I think once you start asking those kind of questions, it helps you better understand that person. Because I'm assuming, did you ask those questions in the beginning?
I didn't.
Okay.
And that was my problem. I didn't ask those questions at the beginning, and I didn't realize that until the end.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was too late.
Yep.
Way too late to ask those questions. And you're right. If those questions would have been asked up front, I would have known what I was dealing with and how to love her the way she wanted to be loved, and vice versa. She would have loved me the way I wanted to be loved, and we could have reciprocated the love back and forth. Yeah. And I could have made the decision up front and say, you know what? I don't want to love that way. I don't want to love you that way. So therefore, we're going to go our separate ways.
We could go our separate ways, wash hands with each other, and then it's no hard feelings.
No hard feelings.
So, but what happens is, I feel like we don't ask the right questions up front. And what happens is, like I said, it's the attraction thing, right? You could have just specifically physical chemistry and attraction, and that can last for a long time.
It can.
You can get so comfortable that it just lasts for a long time, and then one day you have this argument, I don't want that watch. I never wanted that watch. And she's like, well, I thought you would like the watch. And you're like, no, I want you to be, I want to go to the movies. Or I want to go out, to
I want to be intimate.
I want to be intimate.
I want you to tell me you love me.
Yeah, like I want to spend time together.
Yeah.
I don't care about the material stuff. But in the back of her mind, she's like, well, I bought you this watch. This
Show
is how
I
show.
love you. Correct.
Yeah, this is how I show
Yes.
my appreciation. This is how I show someone that I care about them. When in all reality, you care about time or physical touch. So that's I think that goes back to like asking the right questions up front. But once again, that implies the vulnerability thing, right? And it goes, like I said, it goes on both sides. Vulnerability is being able to have the conversations that you need to share how you really feel. And this goes back to why men can't be vulnerable. It's because we're not looking at the softer side of things. We're not looking at the emotional aspects of actually letting this person really know how we feel. So we can actually get into that and actually understand what they need and what we need.
Yeah.
So
It's reciprocated. And you made a bunch of valid points. And relationships are tough, man. It's not easy. You're dealing with a different person. And, there's a book, and I'm pretty sure everybody heard about it before. Women are from Venus, men are from Mars. Mm-hmm. Because we are, when you think about it, we're total opposites.
Oh, yeah.
But yet we still have to figure out how to coexist with one another. Mm-hmm. And that line of communication is big. And we don't sometimes, men, and I'm going to take credit away from a lot of men. We don't know how to communicate. We don't tell people what we want or how we want to do it. So a lot of times I tell people all the time is this: you can't blame somebody for doing something to you because you've allowed it to happen. Mm-hmm. We allow things to happen to us over and over again, but yet then after a while we say, hey, why is this person doing this to me? Because you allowed it. People will only do to you what you allow them to do to you. Yeah. If you say something up front about it, yes, it may cause a rift. It may cause a conversation. And if you're willing to have that conversation, it's okay. But a lot of times, the vulnerability again, we're not willing to have that conversation. We don't want to have it. And I found this out too, is a lot of times people want to change you.
Oh, yeah.
Or you want to try to change somebody else. People are who they are.
Well, let's get into that. So people always are looking to either mold or create what they want.
What you be.
Yeah, because you gotta look at it like this. If, let's say, and we'll use certain women as an example, they could have the perfect man, but he's still not good enough because he doesn't fit into that mold.
The mold
that they want,
the mindset. Yep.
And then at the same time, women can have a terrible man, and they try to mold him into what they want. So I think on both sides, we have to learn about who the person is that we're looking at, and then we have to figure out who the person is in the mirror. And then obviously I think that the issues that people have could be fixed by having those kind of conversations and figuring out and communicating with the person that they potentially want to be with.
You said 2 C words that mean the same thing, but people don't hear that, man. Conversation and communication.
Yep. Yeah.
If you learn how to have a conversation and learn how to communicate to somebody, that's an easy story. But again, that's one of our issues. I'm going to give you an example, an experience that I had after my divorce. I was in New York City where there's a lot of women in New York City, right? Mm-hmm. The statistics is women outnumber men 4-1.
Yeah.
In New York City, go on a date. Beautiful woman. She's an attorney. Okay. Attorney. She's sitting there giving me a resume. She makes X amount of dollars a year. Da, da, da. So we go on a nice first date and nice restaurant. So I asked her again, because I like to communicate. I like to talk. Yeah. What are you? So I met her, I think, on some dating app, whether it's Tinder or whatever it was. I don't know, one of the dating apps. I said, so what are you looking for? She said, I'm looking for the perfect 10. I looked at her and I made that same face. Perfect 10?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Exactly. Exactly the same word. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I'm looking for the perfect. I said, number one, there is no perfect person. Mm-hmm. And I said, so, okay, you're perfect 10. So when's the last time you were on a date? She said, yesterday. Okay, I respect it. When's the last time before that? She said, day before that. I said, hold on. So I said, okay, so this was a Friday. Yeah. I said, how many days you go on in a week? She says 4 to 5. 4 to 5 per week. Yeah, I said, same guy? She says, no, different guys. I said, hold on. How many people do you have in your inbox? She said 20 per app. Oh, hold up.
Yeah, that's wild. And that's a whole nother topic. Serial dating. Like, I feel like it as a business owner and someone who is very very busy. I don't have the time to serial date.
Oh,
So
it's
how
crazy.
so like how could you find the time to like literally sit down, talk to 20 people, figure out who they are, and go out on dates with all of them, and then expect to find what you really want? It's not possible.
Think about it. Most dating apps, 5 pictures, 300 characters,
Yeah.
and you're going to determine who's perfect for you, who's the 10 based off of that?
No.
Most dates are interviews. You ask an interview question, you get an interview answer. You don't get the real person. Just like when you go on an interview for a job, you always give them the best version of you. But guess what? Down the road, you said that to that. What you said earlier, to that one day, you're like, oh, hold up. You told me you were X, Y, and Z. I see you A, B, and C now.
So and this is not even to like toot my own horn, but when when I go out on dates and stuff like that, I give the version of me.
You have to.
But the problem is most people don't do that, right? It's like, you go on your best behavior. It's so funny because I had a friend. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not gonna blow him out there. I had a friend.
You're not going to blow up his spot.
I'm not gonna blow up his spot. I had a friend. He didn't take care of himself, like hygiene wise. But when it was date time, showered, haircut, teeth brushed, deodorant, ready to go. He's good.
Man.
Brand new outfit, ready to go. So he goes out, with the girl. He calls me up. He's like, "Yo, we good." Da, da, da. I'm like, "All right, cool." So then, like, they, get together and stuff, and they had like a good little thing going.
Okay.
And then I guess maybe like because he's telling me the story, like maybe like over the months she started noticing like the little like issues, like
Hygiene.
The bad breath, funkiness, not like house stuff, not washing the clothes, stuff like that. So obviously if she's seen that on his forehead when he walked into the restaurant, she'd have been like, hell no, I'm out of here. And it can go vice versa, right? But that's why the first impression should be who you really are. But like you said, it's an interview. People lie on interviews all the time.
Just to get the job.
Right? How many people are actually Microsoft Excel certified, but they put it on a resume?
People want the job.
Yeah, they want the job
until that day, and they think they can fool somebody long enough. They want to fake it till you make it. They're faking it they're faking on the date until they make it.
But it's really sad because they don't realize if you were just who you really are, then you would probably attract the person that you really need in your life, opposed to faking the funk, not being that person or individual, and then they get railroaded because you're not who you portrayed to be down the road. And that's what leads to a lot of issues too.
My prior career, you know this already, I was a sales manager in the automotive industry. And there's a saying in the automotive world, and it's going to be the saying on here too right now. It's similar to dating. There's an ass for every seat. So no matter what kind of car you're selling, somebody's going to buy it. No matter how ugly it is, no matter what the color it is, no matter how many miles, there's somebody out there looking for that car.
Yeah.
Same thing with people.
Yeah.
There's somebody for somebody. We want sometimes what we really don't deserve. And we try to get something different because he didn't deserve, or she didn't deserve, maybe more him, didn't deserve what she was because he was faking the funk.
Is there really somebody for everybody though?
I think there is, man.
Come on.
I think there's some.
I think
there's somebody. But you know what makes a big part? Timing. Timing is huge.
Somebody might want to fight me after I say this, but I think some people belong single. I really do. I think some people are not cut out for relationships, just like I think some people aren't cut out to have kids.
You know what? Now that you say that, I think you might be right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like some people aren't relationship material. They're not cut out for it, right? They don't have the mentality for it. They don't have the heart for it. They may not have the time. There's people that want companionship, right? Because that's the human and the anatomy aspect of it.
To be somebody else, correct.
But they're just not cut out for it. And so they may go out and damage all these people that they encounter because they're not cut out. They may even be the best person at the time that these people need, but they're just not cut out for it.
That's a strong statement. But I give you credit for that statement, for saying it. Like you said, people are going to hate you for saying it, but it's real. And I'm looking now that you said that, and I'm going to look at myself. Remember, I told you, stop pointing fingers and start putting thumbs back. I'm going to look at myself and look in the mirror and be accountable. There may have been times in my life that I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. But like you said earlier, I wanted the companionship, and people don't understand the difference between a relationship and a companionship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And at the time, I probably didn't understand it either. I know I didn't understand the difference.
I think that is the silver lining, right? Because you can be lonely in just one companionship and think that you want a relationship, but then when you get it, you're like, what the hell am I doing? I don't want this, right? And you can have that good feeling when you're around this person, but when you're not with them, you're like, I don't want that, right? And that's where the comfortability situation comes into play, and people's feelings get hurt because the individual really doesn't know what they want. That's stuff that people don't pay attention to, right? Because if we internalize it, and if we were able to understand the difference between the two from the start, then we wouldn't waste anybody's time, and our time wouldn't be wasted.
That's a very true statement. Now, I have a thing about relationships in general. You said something about serial dating. In my opinion, again, people may hate me on this statement, I think we're taught wrong at the beginning of our dating stages. I think at the beginning we should be serial dating. The reason I say that because at the beginning of your dating experience, you don't really know what you're looking for. You don't, because you don't know what's out there. We fall in love with what we think love is. Whether it's TV, it could be sometimes it could be your parents. And again, a lot of times even you see your parents, you see a version of your parents, but you don't see the details of what it takes, the ups and the downs of what they go through. Not everybody sees that. And I think at the beginning, we should be taught to not say be promiscuous, but to date multiple people to see what you really want in life. So when you finally find that person, you know what you're looking for. A lot of times we get caught up in the, oh yeah, I'm looking for, these things about a guy or a girl, and I like these couple things, I'm around with it. But it's not really what you really want. It's what you only know at that time, and you got to go through heartache. And again, heartache is cool. You got to go through it. You got to go through some pain.
So, okay. Let's say with that theory of serial dating, right? An individual, we'll use Laura for an example, right? Okay. She goes through 20 dates within a month's time.
That's a young age. Okay, yeah, keep going with her.
Right?
Okay.
I'm just saying, It could be anybody. Yeah, okay. It doesn't have to be her specifically. But let's just say male or female, they go for 20 dates in a month.
Okay.
There's no possible way they can figure out who these people are to even know if they're relationship worthy or figure out if they're actually compatible with them.
That's true. That's too much.
It's too much.
I'm thinking 3 to 4 people to try to figure out, because again, this is my theory. People may hate me on my theory here. When you date one person, in my opinion, when I'm dating one person, when I'm trying to get to know somebody, I'm comparing that one person to my ex.
Okay.
When I compare that one person to my ex, I'm not with my ex for a reason. So it's therefore, I'm giving that person way more credit. I'm putting them on a higher pedestal for no reason. They haven't deserved to be on this pedestal, but I'm putting them on that pedestal because I'm comparing to my ex, which is not on the pedestal, obviously. So I'm going to give you more credit than you deserve. If I date multiple people, my opinion, just to call it 3, I'm now comparing the 3 people amongst each other versus my ex.
So let's blow it open then.
Okay.
Let's blow it open. let's blow it open.
Let's do it.
Let's just blow it open. When we're comparing exes, it's mostly sexual. It's sexual from the start.
It's always sexual.
It's sexual from the start, and it sucks because that's just the reality behind it, right? Because let's say you're with someone for however long, you had great sexual chemistry, and then everything else just follow, right? It's just everything just lined up.
But it starts up as you said.
It starts there, right? So this is why promiscuity is such an issue, because soul ties are real.
Huge.
Some people don't believe in soul ties. For people who don't know what soul ties are if you have sex with someone.
Physical connection. Yep.
And they basically lock you down. You're locked into them. It's something that you can't forget. You can't shake it. It's a soul tie.
Especially if you go unprotected.
Yeah, especially if you go unprotected. If you go unprotected sex, it's very easy to catch soul ties out here. That's a whole nother topic. We can get into that another video.
It's a whole other day.
Yeah, it's a whole other topic. But when we move on, right? It's always a sexual thing. It's like you're in the back of your head. It's like, well, are they gonna be better than my ex, right? Because how many times, and we just got to be real, how many times have you got with someone new? It wasn't good enough, and you went back to thinking about that ex.
Happens more than often.
It happens more than often.
Especially, and I'm going to keep it a buck. If you like to get freaky dicky, oh, man. Dog, that soul tie is even tighter. Mm-hmm. Because if the other person can't do those things that you used to doing, it messes you up.
It messes you up, and at the same time, the biggest problem is people don't have the patience, because that new person could have those abilities, but guess what? If they don't have them, you don't have the time to want to mold them into that or want to teach them that. So you get frustrated and you want what you want. And like I said, that's why a lot of the times it's because of people not really figuring out and communicating and getting the points and the facts in the beginning. And it's tough. It's tough because there's so many different lanes you can go down when it comes to this conversation, and it gets deep. It gets deep. Like I said, with the whole soul ties thing, I was tied down a few times. I was tied down a few times.
But that still plays back into the whole theme of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because we talk about in an emotional way, but in a physical way, you can be vulnerable as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like you can be, matter of fact, a lot of times you can be more vulnerable physically than mentally.
Yeah. Well, and that's because just the human anatomy in general, right? We can obviously want to have common goals, and we can want to have, a foundation, and, we might even be great business partners. But in the beginning stages, I'm courting you. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your lips. I'm looking at your hair. I'm looking at your legs. You know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff is what's drawing me to you, the attraction. And obviously, if everything else fits, then it's just more the merrier. But the issue is the communication in the beginning. And that's the problem with a lot of individuals nowadays, especially with the modern relationships. They're not asking the right questions. And then we get into the victim Olympics because they didn't figure out the person based on their personality and their morals and their values, because they based the attraction purely off the looks.
And we fall so, and again, I think it's both ends, more men and women fall victim to the physical, to the looks. Yeah. So got a good comment?
Shout out to Ryan, says, don't let the grip fool you.
The grip, that's funny.
Don't let the grip fool you.
No, that's the story, man.
What else we got? So Jesse James says it's because of dating apps and not meeting people organically like the old days. So Jesse, you're right. I think I think you're definitely right about that one. Think about if you met that nice girl in the library, right? How that would go so much different.
And I'm glad you said that.
Because
dating apps, and I say this all the time, technology is a gift and a curse at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because growing up, in order for me to meet somebody, you just said library. I had to go. If I wanted, and I tell people, it's funny because I have a friend in New Jersey, female friend. She said that she wants to meet a spiritual man, and she wants this godly guy. I said, well, stop going to clubs.
Yeah.
Stop going to bars. Go to church.
Yeah.
We want what we want, but we're not willing to put the effort into getting what we want. And the reason I'm bringing this up is dating apps have hurt us because you talk about communication.
Yeah.
I can cyber thug online. I can be somebody I'm really not online.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I had to, if I wanted, again, let's say I wanted a smart woman, I go to the library.
Yep.
You go to the, not say go to, but you go grocery shopping. I see somebody grocery shopping.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I could be in my crib no clothes on my phone, and I can date 5 different women. I can go. I can court. That's a court, but I can date 5 women.
Yeah.
I can talk to 5 different women without leaving my house.
And it's tough because this is the modern way. You know what's really crazy? Back in the day, you could have a conversation with a woman just out in the world. Hi, how you doing? You look beautiful. What's your name? She would answer. Might have a quick conversation, might have an exchange. You might get the number. You might not. But the conversation would happen. Nowadays, if you try to talk to a woman out in the world, she looks at you like you're weird. It's a weird thing. You're a creep. And it's like they would rather talk to this imaginary person behind this picture that they probably don't even exist and feel more comfortable because it's on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Tinder, opposed to having a real world conversation. Tell you what, and this, I'm glad we're actually getting into this topic because this is another one. This is so crazy to me. I would rather talk on the phone than text. Oh. Can I tell you how many times I've had women say, I don't want to talk on the phone, text me. And I'm just like, well, we don't need to talk then. There's nothing to talk. If I can't talk to you on the phone and communicate with you on the phone, I don't want to text you. I'm not a child.
That's a red flag for me.
Okay.
The reason why it's a red flag for me, if you can't talk to me, I'm thinking there's somebody else around. The reason why you can't talk to me.
Well, I would say not even that. Not even that. For me, it's you're lazy. You don't want to put the effort in.
True. Or they can't communicate.
Yeah.
They're horrible communicators.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because you said something earlier about the whole experience. I was on TikTok the other day, and this lady was in the gym. She's wearing a very tight spandex outfit, showing her stomach. She looks like she had the BBL, but big as hell, and with spandex on.
Got the BBL.
And she's saying, why are men creeps in the gym? Okay. Look what you're wearing. And I put on the comment, look what you're wearing.
Yeah, look at what you're wearing.
How can this is not normal to see a woman with her stomach showing, titties look like they huge, BBL, and a guy not to look at it, of course. You know what the funny thing is? And I know we're jumping off topic, but the ones that have the pink or was it couture on their butt. But then they complain about a man commenting on her butt. You have it written on your ass.
Listen, what
are we talking about?
There was a recent post on Twitter, and it was this gamer girl. Now, the industry really like the gamer girls. They've exploded over the years.
Yeah,
They're
huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. If you're a girl and you can game, and you're comfortable in front of a camera, and you look decent, you can make some money. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
So she went to the gym and she had her phone set up to where it was like recording her workout or whatever.
Okay.
But she wasn't just recording the workout. She was actually recording the guy behind her. So the guy was doing his little workout or whatever, doing his little routine. He then comes over to her because she was kind of like struggling with the weight. So he comes over. He's like, hey, can I help you with the weight? He tried to like pick it up, and she's like, no, I don't need you to do it. Get away from me. Da 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 da. And it actually ended up posting it on Twitter, and it's kind of, I'm like, yo, are you deliberately going to like the gym and like recording yourself for this kind of situation? Because this is the same person, right? That didn't want to basically be helped or, in a sense, be creeped out. This is the same female who was on OnlyFans, who's objectifying herself. And I'm not saying that her having a professional OnlyFans is wrong. Do what you want to do. But at the same time, how can you call a man a creep who comes to help you, but yet still you put yourself out there for whoever to see you unclothed? It's a really wild society.
It is the Wild Wild West on the internet, and the OnlyFans situation, and I still don't. I get it, but I don't get it. Mm-hmm. I get it, meaning that I understand it's a lucrative opportunity to make money, right? I get that part, but when you get upset with somebody making a comment, I don't get that part because you put yourself out there for somebody to make a comment.
Yeah,
that's the part I don't get. But they get upset about it, and now not to say not even. I'm not saying when I say comment, I'm not talking about like rude comments.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just a regular comment in general. But they get upset about the comment that somebody's made, but you put yourself out there for these guys to make the comments. Or girls. Because guys, there's some guys that do the same thing.
Yeah, it's vice versa.
It's vice versa.
Yeah.
It's both guys and girls. And this world has changed. Again, I talk to you about it all the time. Everything I was taught, I'm 45 years old.
Pick your mic up.
Everything I was taught, I'm 45 years old, it's being untaught.
Yeah.
The things that I had to go out, again, to go on a date, to try to talk to a woman, to put myself out there is different now.
Yeah.
Like, the way the game is played is not the same rules that I played when I was in the dating scene.
No, it's
20
totally
years
different.
ago.
It's totally different from even when I was younger, you know? The way that the dates are set up now is different. It's nothing to it's nothing to get flown out. It's nothing to get flown out. You know how many times I've been asked, "Hey, fly me out to your city," or meet me out here, but you pay for it, and I'm just like, well, I'm not flying you out to Mexico. I don't even know you.
You think I'm Trick Dawson?
I'm not flying you out to Santa Monica. I don't know you. But those conversations are had because other people are doing it, right? And we throw the word simp around a lot. that's gonna be another video. But there's people out here that are flying people out, man, and they're getting left in that city so that the other person can go do what they want to do. Now, the dating scene is not only ridiculous, but it's just to the point where it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for certain people and certain demographics, right? Obviously, if you're younger, you're into, your city boy, city girl stuff. It is what it is. Have your fun. I think the issue is some people convey different things that they want, but they're not truthful in regards to their intentions, right? Then you have the people that have, the moral ability to be in a long-term relationship and want to get married, but they may be confused on the past and they may not be over their ex. They're still jaded over past situations. There's so many different ways that the modern relationship and the modern dating scene has been turned upside down, that if you don't understand human emotions and the reason why people act the way they do, you're going to be stuck. You might as well just stay in the house or get you a passport, go overseas. They still got mail order brides. You might have to go that route.
What's funny you say this may sound wrong. And if it does, hey, it is what it is. It's my opinion. There's too many options.
Yeah. Yep.
It's similar to you go on Netflix. You go on Prime.
Too many movies.
There's
too many movies.
Thousands of movies there.
There's too many movies.
It's sometimes. Now I'm gonna take this even further, but it's too many movies.
Mm-hmm.
You watch a porno.
Mm-hmm.
There's sometimes it takes you longer to find the one you want to watch versus you watching it.
Remember when you had that one magazine or that one tape?
You had no options.
That was it.
And maybe
you had that one magazine or that one tape, and that was it. Now,
there may be a thing if you have less options, you'll make better decisions. Because when you have back to the lawyer.
Yep.
She was on 4 different apps. She has 20 guys in her inbox per day. That's 80 people.
Yeah.
Too many options.
Yeah.
So in her head, the 10, now, not to say I agree with her, but I understand it because she has all those options. So she's with all these options, I'm looking for the perfect person. You're never going to find it.
Yeah, well, I mean, why wouldn't she exercise those options if she's got the ability to?
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
When you have that much access to something, no matter what it is in life, I don't care if it's access to marijuana, liquor, whatever you have that much access to, you're going to take advantage of it. You're gonna overdo it.
Overindulge.
Way overindulge. And we have that issue in dating right now. There's dating apps. It's a great thing because it does allow us to get to see people that we would never see before on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, It's too much access. Who's somebody got some funny to say?
Shout out to Lucy. He said, yes, there are mail order men. You can mail order
Facts.
a husband. They are available. They are available.
Sign me up. If any women out there, no, I'm just playing. Just joking.
There are mail order men, just like are mail order husbands, just like there's mail order brides. It's really, really tricky to navigate a society to where there's so many options, right? And that's not to say that people shouldn't be their best self, right? That's not to say that, oh, there's too many options, you don't have a chance. You need to be the best person that you can be for the individual you want to appeal to. I think the issue is you can be at your very best and it doesn't matter because the person wants what they want. And it could be someone who's completely terrible for them, but they're still going to go after that person that they want, even through all those options. Because how many times have we seen the stories of a good guy, right, get his heart broken by a girl, and on the flip side, a good woman who get her heart broken by the bad boy, you know? So I think, like I said, it goes back to communicating, having the conversations that people need to have, really taking the time to learn the individual, becoming vulnerable with the select individual that you could potentially make something with.
The keyword select individual.
Yeah, the select. First off, don't be vulnerable to everybody. Do not do that. That is the wrong idea, and that's what we're trying to, sway against. You wanna find the select individual who's going to meet you where you are in the road. I feel like a lot of people do reach for the stars. There's nothing wrong with that, but when you realize you don't have the same kind of rocket boosters, you're gonna have to, find what's on Earth.
I got a saying for that. It's okay to reach for the stars.
Yep.
However, you have to stop holding on to the grass.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is the grass is, we are used to, and again, people don't realize this, we all have patterns. Mm-hmm. All of us have a pattern, whether we realize it or not. And a lot of times we'll follow into that same pattern. You'll find another mate, female, male, whatever it is, but they're similar to your last mate.
Yeah.
In order to find, sometimes if you go through a consistent pattern of the bad guys or the good guys, whatever it is your pattern is, no matter what it is, mm-hmm. Sometimes, and you get frustrated, you have to change your pattern.
Yeah.
Sometimes the person that you want is not the person you need.
You hit the nail on the head.
And we fall into that all the time.
Do you think that it's more of a societal issue as far as why we fall into that comfort level with that person? Or do you think it's we don't take the time to really sit back and evaluate ourselves to make sure that we're up to our full potential to get the person that we need?
Something you said earlier, you said something about we want what we want when we want it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we want what we want when we want it. So we're not taking the time. Timing, whether we realize it or not, is everything.
Oh, yeah.
You could have the right person in front of you, mm-hmm. but it's the wrong timing.
Oh, yeah.
And that happens more than often. Now, we can't adjust time. That person may not be right for you at that particular moment. And that's okay. But we're scared to sometimes allow that to just go forward. If the person's not for you at that point in time, that's okay. Sometimes it comes around when the person they're right for you at the right time. It could be their career. There could be their children. It could be a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, there's a
ton of different reasons why the person's not ready for you or you're not ready for that person at that particular time. And we want what we want when we want it. So therefore, then we try to move on and we find something else to be suitable for the time, and it's the wrong person. And we fall into that trap of we're not, like you said earlier, we're not having that conversation. Yeah. So now you're 2 years into a relationship. And it's not the relationship you want to be in. But now you're 2 years in. You're like, okay, at this point, I just gotta stick with it.
I feel like sometimes we should have like a like relationships should come like contracts, right?
Marriage does. Why not relationships?
Yeah,
Same thing.
Like to actually be in like an exclusive relationship, there should be like a contract where like money's involved, and that would like completely stop all the games, all the bullshit. Because think about it, a relationship, especially an exclusive relationship, you're not only putting your life into it, but you're putting your time into it. If you got kids, you're probably putting your kids. You bring your that person around your kids. There's a lot that people don't really realize that. Like they just go with the flow, hoping for the end result, whether it be a long-term partnership or marriage or whatever. But and that's a whole nother topic. Like when you bring someone, let's say like I said, you're exclusive, you're in a relationship, things are quote unquote going good, and you got kids involved. Now that's a whole nother dynamic.
Huge.
Yeah, especially if the other parent's not around for those kids. Because now you're bringing someone in the house that these kids may potentially look up to be that mom figure or that father figure. Yeah. And that changes the whole dynamic. So I think, like I said, I'm really serious about this contract thing because I feel like that would change a lot of the narrative as far as how serious people do take contracts, because at the end of the day, people take marriage serious because of the contract for the most part. But
there has to be, and I get what you're saying with contract, there has to be some kind of buy-in.
Yeah.
There has to be something where if you get somebody that emotionally attached, there has to be some other repercussions. Not crazy stuff where you somebody get killed or you slashing tires, none of that crap. But
no violence, people.
No violence. But some kind of attachment where you're held accountable for your actions.
Yeah.
You have to take that person more serious, or you have to put more time or effort into the situation than you currently do right now. Because right now, the issue, again, like I said before, I think there's too many options.
Yeah.
Way too many options. So you'll get guys, and this is a lot of times this happens too, going back to the whole dating experience, especially, think about this. Let's go back to before you had the internet, before you had dating apps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I had an issue with my significant other, I didn't have that many options, or the options you had were in your neighborhood, in your area.
Yeah.
So therefore, you know what? Yeah. She the best thing smoking in my area. I'm gonna stick with this. I know Buffalo. She the best thing in Buffalo. You know what? I'm gonna stick with this thing right here because there ain't too many more things better out there.
Well,
but when you have the world as your melting pot or your playground, you know what? I can find somebody else better because I got too many options.
But I feel like this. When back then, right, when there was an issue, obviously it was a little bit more internal, right? You might call your family or you might call a close friend before you went on social media and just blasted all your information or your problems out to 3,000 people on your Facebook, you know? But also, you know, you mentioned the options. I think back then without social media, people were taking, you know, their relationship a little bit more serious. They were working things out a little bit more. They were having better conversations. They were communicating maybe a little bit more. And that's why you still see a little bit of more of those, you know, relationships still today, because they didn't have the social media. So they had each other, right? And that's the difference. When you have each other and you don't have thousands of other people involved, it's a little easier to work through your issues and your problems. Now, that's not to say like if someone's going through some toxic bullshit that they should stick around. But if you're having just simple issues that are at the surface level that you're just disagreeing on, I think it was a lot easier to have those kind of conversations back then. Because now you could have something like very minuscule blow up in like this big thing, and you're sitting there like, yo, what just happened? Like, I didn't think it was that big, but to them, it's the biggest thing in the world. And because they shared it out or they watched all these TikToks, they watched all these videos, and you like the color blue, that's toxic. I'm just using that as an example, guys. No one's probably ever said that. But it's just, the influence that social media has tapped into the minds of modern society. And that's why the problems that exist. And people don't realize that. That's the scary part about it. You don't realize that social media is the reason why these things aren't working. You just fell into it.
You hit something, you hit the nail on the head. And the social media aspect of it has changed the way we look at things. Because back in the day, I only knew what I knew in my community.
Yeah.
Through my circle, through my peers, whether it's coworkers, whatever it is, my circle, whatever what you call your circle. With the internet, social media, your circle will now expand. A lot of times you have people on your social media accounts. You don't know these people from a can of paint.
You don't even know these
but
people.
Yet you're watching their stories.
That's true.
Yet you're looking at their stories. You're looking at their life. Like you know this person, but you don't know this person. And a lot of times, I'm going to say, and again, I'm throwing a percentage out there. It's probably wrong. 90 to 95% of the time, people only show their bright side.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see anybody's darkness. You don't see any of the pain people go through.
No.
The hurt. Like, you don't see that. They only show you what they want to show you.
So social media is a scam. And if you don't know that, that's another video, another conversation we need to have. But social media is a scam. Everything that you see on social media should be taken with a grain of salt. Case in point, and I'll just bring this up. We can veer off a little bit. All the like get rich quick, all the Amazon FBA, all the buy this course for real estate and you'll be a real estate mogul. All of it's a scam, right? Buy this book and you'll make $5,000 in 30 days. No, you're not going to make that money. Those guys are rich. You see them in the Lamborghinis and you see them in the private jets, which normally is not even a real private jet. They're taking a picture in a stage somewhere. But anyways,
that's another story.
That's another story. But those guys that are pushing that kind of stuff, like they're selling you the course and that's how they get rich. They get rich by telling you you're going to get rich and you buy their course with $50 and then you don't make anything.
And what we don't realize, remember back in the day you had pyramid schemes?
Oh, yeah.
These are the new pyramid schemes.
It's a new pyramid scheme.
Because all they tell you to do is they tell you, okay, yeah, we're gonna want you to buy into this.
Yep.
But we want you to find another person. Because remember, this is an old saying. This saying is old as hell.
Yeah.
Misery loves company.
Yep.
So it's not misery, but if I get you to buy into it,
yeah,
I want you to get your friend to buy into it too. Because
do you know how many times I've had people reach out to me? Hey, I've got this coin. It's about to blow up. I need you to invest 20,000. I need you to invest 30,000, and we'll triple that. We'll turn that into 100. Right? So I'm bringing that up, and I'm telling people like what's really going on. Like somebody's gonna hate me for this. You want to fight? We can box, whatever. I don't care. Like we can do what we gotta do. We can do what we gotta do. Crypto's a scam. Leave it alone. Don't mess with it. And I'll say this. Unless you have a complete understanding of what investing is and how to do it, and you have proper education on that kind of stuff, leave it alone. Don't fall for the scams. Don't fall for the people in your inbox telling you they're going to make you rich with crypto. Don't, I mean, you guys see what happened to the FTX situation. Tom Brady, Stephen Curry, Giselle. Who else was involved? Who else was involved over there?
Tom Brady, Steph Curry, some big names.
Yeah, it was some huge names involved. All those people are influencers, right? Yeah, they're sports and entertainers and things like that, but they're all influencers. So when someone of that level says, hey, I'm investing my money here, you're going to be like, oh, okay, well, Tom Brady's doing it, so I should go do it. So now your money's in there with Tom Brady's. Tom Brady didn't put his money over there. Tom Brady got paid to say he was putting his money over there so you would do it. Leave crypto alone. Only invest in tangible things that you know that are made in the stock market, right? If you got a 401k, we can get into that conversation too. I got a lot of stuff for you. We're segueing
into some other conversations in the future.
We're segueing way into the other stuff. but this is all stuff that's coming. We're going to have all this good fun content for you guys, but it's all important stuff. It's all stuff that you need to know. And, my big thing is this. And if you rock with me on the sports channel, I always say this: if I can help one person, then we've done our job.
And I have a saying, and it's similar to that. You could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you're here watching us, and we appreciate that. Because again, without you, there's no us. There's really no us. So, we encourage positivity. We encourage, great mental health. We want to help. We're doing this to help each other, and not only to help you if you have any issues, like you said, if you help one person, but this also helps us as well.
Oh yeah,
this is therapy for us.
Yeah,
us having this conversation, because again, you're going to see something differently than I see it. I'm going to see something differently than you see it.
Yep.
And you and I are open enough, and we hopefully the rest of the world can think the same way.
Yeah.
To look at something in a different perspective.
Yep.
A different lens.
So, no, I think this is obviously a great first show.
Yeah.
We put an hour in with you guys. I'm glad that you guys came to support and listen in. So, we got a lot more stuff coming. But I think this was a great hour. I think we covered a lot. Next up, I think we'll definitely. So I think we'll start Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Now,
yeah.
Let's do this though. What do you want to talk about? It's not always about us. What topics do you have that you want to talk about?
Yeah. What topics? Throw
it in the chat. Guys? We'll look at it again. If it's something, if it's unanimous, we got to go with that one.
Yeah, Lutza, yeah, it'll be weekly, and then what we'll do is we'll have like content, like we'll vary. Like he might do a video on like a Monday, I might do a video on like a Wednesday, but we'll make sure that there's weekly content, and then we'll do a video together every week. But yeah, what are some topics that you guys want to talk about? That way we have an idea as far as what the people want. Because that's very important too, and we want to make sure that we're covering all topics, because you guys know I got a mind for this stuff. I can keep going, but I want to make sure that we're talking about the stuff that you guys want to talk about, and we keep it an open, honest discussion. We keep it candid. Like I said, it was going to be fun. I think it's fun. I think we covered a lot. I think we talked about a lot of things that maybe you guys didn't think about, or maybe you guys didn't have an idea of, and you learned something. But Jesse says live call and followers more involved would be dope. Jesse, I got you. I got you.
You know what? Let's turn this into a talk show, man.
I got you. So Jesse, this is what we gonna do next week. I'm gonna set it up so that we do Restream, and then on Restream you guys can just hop right in.
Yep.
We can do up to 10 on a panel. So if 10 people want to come on, you guys can hop on and we can all get involved. We can all talk about stuff. You guys can give your insight. We can give feedback, and we can all get involved and have a great time and talk about the things that need to be discussed.
And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yes. So Tactical says family, addiction, international affairs, communication, faith. I got you.
I got you. Those are good topics.
I got you.
Very good topics.
I got you. So I'm gonna write everything down, and we're gonna keep this going, guys. I like what we got going here. It's a good thing, and the sports thing is still gonna roll. We're still gonna do that. But yeah, this was needed. This was definitely needed, because there's a lot of misunderstanding out there, and I feel like not only myself but Franklin and you guys have a lot of input that needs to be shared, and we need to talk about these things. So I want to give a quick shout out to everybody watching. Obviously, make sure you smash that like, that thumbs up. It's much appreciated. Make sure you guys subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Shout out to you guys.
God bless. Good night.
Have a good night.